Hey guys, Jessica here from the Retro Farmhouse. Just wanted to say I hope you guys had a happy new year, and I am working on a project today to repurpose some things that I had left over for Christmas. Maybe you guys are already packed up your Christmas things or are working on that now, but I know sometimes I tend to get like a lot of Christmas cards for Christmas, so a lot of times those tend to just go in the trash. So I was looking for some ideas of things that I could do with those to repurpose them, and so I'm working on two projects today for some ideas that I found. So hopefully this gives you some inspiration on what to do with those so that you could repurpose those, and you could probably even do this with any type of greeting cards. It doesn't have to just be Christmas cards, but I will put a link below of some of the items that I used, and also in the description box there will be a supply list as well. So let's get started with today's DIY project. So as you can tell guys, this is the wreath that I've been working on before. This is a little bit of a time-consuming project, but it's definitely a neat project if you like to recycle those old Christmas cards. So I'm going to show you really quickly how we've put this together. So basically I have a pile of my old cards here, and for the first project we'll do, basically all I did was I took a piece of paper and let me grab one here. I took a piece of paper and I just made kind of a holly leaf shape, and I cut that out. And basically to make my template, and then I just drew on the backs of all of my leftover Christmas cards that I had and cut those out. Now you don't have to make it a holly leaf, I just liked that shape because it reminded me a little bit more of Christmas, but you could definitely do any kind of leaf shape to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and trace some of these onto these cards, and it doesn't really matter, you know, I like to just try to do the whole thing, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute, just so that I'm using up all of my pieces of my cards. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I want to disassemble my cards. So I'm just going to cut my front piece off from my back piece, and definitely don't throw away the back pieces. They're usually just blank on the other side, and I want to save those for my next project that I'm going to show you. So definitely put those aside because we are going to use this white part. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to take my template that I've already made here, and I'm just going to trace a bunch of these out, and then I'll just cut those out with my scissors. Again, you can make your leaves bigger. You know, mine are just much more smaller. That way I can get a little bit more detail in there with mine, but you know, however you want to shape your leaves is how I usually do it. Something else that you can reuse is just little cardstock backings of things. This was the little for ornaments, the little trees that I'd used in my previous Trash to Treasure video. And so I actually saved this because I was like, oh, it's red, you know, I could use this for this project, and it's made out of good cardstock as well. So if you have anything like that that you're going to be throwing away, that would work for this project. So now that I've cut out my pieces here, I'm going to attach those onto some of my toothpicks with some hot glue here. And I also looked up, if you don't want to take the time to cut all of these pieces out, they do make some cutout stampers of different shapes and things, and I did find one that was a leaf, so I'll link that below. You can get that off of Amazon, and that's just you know, a simple little machine that can, you know, stamp these out really easy without you having to cut them out. So either way, these didn't take me very long to cut out, maybe like 10-15 minutes. It's definitely a good project to do if you are like maybe watching some of your TV shows or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take a little bit of glue here and put that onto the back of my leaf, and I'm gonna take my toothpick here, and I like to use the toothpicks because these have a pointed end on them, and that is gonna stick really well into our wreath. The wreath that I am using is just a styrofoam wreath. Mine is rather large, so it's taking quite a bit of these cards, the little leaf cards, to put on it just to fill it. But you can get these in any sizes at any craft stores, and that's what I recommend because these are just gonna poke right in there. So after I have let my little leaves here dry for a little bit with the glue on the back, I am just going to kind of place these here and there, however I would think the leaves would go. And I kind of have done this all over towards the inside, either which way. And I like to kind of alternate them so that I don't have the same, you know, pattern of the card on each one of them. But this is pretty much all I have to do, and then I'm just going to put a little hanger on the back side so that I will have a place to hang my wreath. So for my next project, I'm going to take some of my other cards that might have a few little scenery things on them. And these actually make great little gift tags to use for next year. So a lot of times when you open these up, one of the side will be blank. So, you know, all you have to do is really just cut your image out. I usually just use a good pair of scissors, or you can also buy these ones that are like little pinking shears. That make little designs on the edge. I'll kind of show you what I mean by that. But they kind of make, like, instead of a straight edge, they make like a little scalloped edge or whatever. Those are really neat to use as well. But if you have some that have wording on the other side, a lot of times on the backs of your cards, it'll be plain white. So if I have any of those that I'm going to do, then what I'll do is I'll just cut out the same shape in the area here, and I'll just use just a little bit of hot glue to join those together. So I'll show you what I mean when I'm making some of these. Okay, so here's an example of one of the cards that I just love, this little church on the front, and I definitely want to use that, but this one has some writing on the back of it, so I know that that is one that I want to cover up. So here's what you can do if you have an image that you want to use for any of your tags, but it's got some writing on it. What I do is I basically just take the back of one of my other cards, and it's plain, and I will glue it onto the back side of this and then cut my image out. So I'm going to use just a little bit of hot glue to do that, and then I'm going to take my other pinking shears and we're going to make a little design around the church. So now what I want to do, all of the ones that I've cut out here are blank on the back, even my little church I just did, since I hot glued that other piece on here. And I like to put just a piece of like ribbon or jute string or anything like that to be able to attach these to like a gift bag or a present or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my little hole punch here. This is just a single hole punch. You can get them at like the dollar store or any kind of office supply place. And I'm just going to put just a little hole punch in here and string my jute through. And here's how today's projects turned out. I just love my little wreath that I've made here of all of my little Christmas cards. I love how it has lots of different types of pictures and textures to it. And I have it outside on my carport door just for display purposes, but I do recommend that this would be a DIY project to have inside. And also, I just love how my little gift tags came out. I love that I can repurpose something for another use. And I'm just going to end up putting these away with some of my gift wrap to be able to use for next year. Thank you guys again for coming along on today's video. Hope you liked today's project. If you do, hit the like button, as well as leave me a comment below. That really does help support my channel. And stay tuned, we'll have some more upcoming DIYs in the next couple weeks. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day.